Hey, and this is the Electric Principle with Brother Pat. We're heading down the highway, and today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about charging an electric desert that is Wisconsin. Unfortunately, you know, Wisconsin used to be a very progressive state. Forward is our motto, but we haven't been very forward when it comes to electricity. And, you know, that's created some problems. And so, you know, unlike Colorado, where I can go pretty much where I want to, I have very few problems ever finding a charging station. Multiple companies have been putting in chargers, and now the governor's even putting in chargers in state parks as well. They might be level 2, but, you know, they're making it easier and easier every day to drive an electric car in Colorado. But you got a different story, right, Pat?
Yeah, we do. We have a very different story. We have a really nice corridor that largely Electrify America put in that covers the route. Essentially, people wanting to go from Chicago to Minneapolis. And as long as you are in that route, things are pretty good.
Right. And today we've got a 240-mile trip planned from basically what is Madison, Wisconsin, all the way to the North Country, up in the Eagle River territory. And the issue with that is that there is no real corridor. Pat's got 2 chargers, right? Two possibilities to help you charge along the way. Why don't you tell me about those?
Yeah, basically there is a cooperative in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It's about 10 miles off our route to get to, but they have a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger there that I have used, and the good news about that is that one is absolutely free.
Yeah, but how many miles do you have to go off the route to get to it?
About 10 miles.
So 20 miles round trip?
No, it's 5 and 5. Oh, I'm sorry if I didn't clarify
still
that.
Sucks, but still. Right.
Yep, but then recently they built a brand new Hyundai dealership in Stevens Point itself, and that is right along the route. And as part of that development, where they put in the Hyundai dealership, they put in a 62 kilowatt charging system, and it's really nice, and it's been great for me because again it's right on the way. It's a charge point system that works flawlessly, and it's very inexpensive, as you'll see.
So, and that's kind of what we're doing. And is that just beyond the halfway point to our destination?
Right. That charger is about 110 miles from my home, and that means that we have about 120 miles after that to get to my Northwoods Lake home near Phelps, Wisconsin.
Yeah. So, you know, in short, you know, in Wisconsin we do this really well. Not so much electric charging.
Yes, and no bottle caps were opened in the making of this video.
Yeah, you can see that. This is kind of a Wisconsin thing. Whenever I travel to Colorado, I need to bring cases of this stuff home with me. Not so much on airplanes, but this is one of our favorites, and most people really tend to like this stuff from Glarus, Wisconsin.
Spotted cow. But
unfortunately, we need to work on getting not just great beers, but we need to work on electric charging networks here. Hey, so, you know, one of the little secrets of my life is that, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take illegal drugs, but my one habit that I've got that's really bad is Diet Coke. And in particular, I do like McDonald's Diet Coke. So at this point, we are pulling in to go get ourselves a Diet Coke. Go ahead.
McRibs are in, Bob. Look at that, Bob.
Good thing I don't like those.
There you go.
But what I do like is a Diet Coke.
Well, let's get a couple.
We'll get a couple, okay?
Yep, take care.
So we are in line to get our Diet Coke. We're skipping the McRibs. You know, we know this is going to kill us, but it is a vice, you know? So what good would it be if it was good for us, right? So...
Just 2 large Diet Cokes, please.
All right, your total for that will be $2.11 at the first one, though.
Okay, Bob's buying. Good morning. Thank you. Diet Coke number 1 and Diet Coke number 2. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, so Pat, one of the things that you did was you tried to, become a pretty sustainable household, and you plugged in a nice large solar system. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, 2020, Marcia, my wife, decided that we should really look into solar. So we did, and we had about a 7.8 kilowatt system installed in our home, and we largely did that because we were looking to be green in the way we run our household, but also because I got into electric cars, and I thought this would be a really great way to add on to our savings around the house with our savings towards gasoline as well. And then after that, after we installed it, the price of gas started going up, and it turned out to be a really good investment.
And so what you ended up buying, what was your first electric car you bought?
Well, about the time we got our solar panels, we went to a car dealership, and can't even remember the reason why. I think it was largely to get some body work done on another car. And
we always go to car stores anyway.
And I went in there and I saw a Chevy Bolt, and I also noticed that they had 20 of them in the parking lot. So I decided that, why not? You're there, and let's try one out. So I took out this little Chevy Bolt, and I found out it was just fun to drive. There wasn't a lot of environmental consciousness that went into that once I started driving it, because it was just a blast. It reminded me a lot of your 2015 Mini Cooper. It really did.
It does drive like a Mini Cooper. May not have heat in the back seat, but it's fun to drive.
So, and at the time, they were actually discounting those heavily. I think the list price on that car was ridiculous. It was almost $40,000, and I ended up buying that car for $21,000, including the Costco discount.
And they were a good deal, and actually at the same time I bought one as well. Pat told me to go look at one because he was thinking about getting one, and I actually bought mine before he did. I just called back and said, well, I bought one because I just thought they were a blast to drive, and the acceleration was incredible, and those little tires spin very easily in that car.
And then as time went on, obviously that car is a great around town car, but I started calling it my one charge tripping car. And what I meant by that is that if I had to charge it more than once on a trip, I really wasn't going to take it, because the DC fast charging in it isn't very good.
It isn't very fast.
It maxes out, if I remember correctly, right around 50 kilowatts, no matter how nice of a charging system you're using. So that became kind of a drag. And then so after that, we started looking into getting a Volkswagen. And I started to look at the ID.4s, and then the other car that really caught my eye was a Model 3 Tesla. So at that time, frankly, I ordered a Volkswagen, and I ordered a Tesla Model 3. And the Tesla Model 3 came in first, and then I sold my Bolt, believe it or not, for about $25,000 after I had put close to 13,000 miles on it.
Yep. So then you became a Tesla guy.
Yep. I purchased that Tesla. I got it. Actually, it was December 24th, 2021 that we picked that car up.
And then, so you did the Tesla for a while, and then I brought you a Volkswagen. So then you had a Tesla and a Volkswagen.
Right, and again, it really made a lot of sense, as we'll explain later, about, between having solar panels in the house and running electric cars, we did save a lot of money. But then again, we started to have a couple of issues.
Issues with charging, you mean, or the cars?
Well, the first issue that we had was with the Tesla itself. The Model 3 that we received was one of the cars where they had started to remove some of the other radar type sensors in the car, and we're relying strictly on cameras. And frankly, that system wasn't ready for prime time. The biggest nemesis of it is that you'll be driving along the highway and you will pull up next to a truck that on a sunny day is casting a nice big shadow over your lane, and out of nowhere it will decide to brake because the camera systems think that there is some object in your way. Yeah. And then the other one that it would do that on, or the other time it would do that is if you were near a bridge overpass that was casting a shadow, and it really was annoying. And I thought it was annoying. I kind of figured a workaround for that I would just push the accelerator so that the automated systems would shut down and be overridden by accelerating faster than my cruise speed. But when my wife was in the car and it would do that, basically it would start a heart attack with her. She would just be very upset about it, and rightfully so. So after a while, it became apparent that the Tesla wasn't going to work out for us, even though charging wise it was a great road tripper just because of the Tesla network.
Yeah, but then also she didn't like the road noise. She didn't like the ride as much as an ID.4.
And I think the other thing that got to her is that Elon Musk knows that Tesla decided that the passenger didn't need any lumbar support. And I think she found that particularly annoying, that the seat wasn't comfortable for her. And at that point, between the phantom braking and not being very comfortable, the wind noise coming through the windows, she had enough of the Tesla Model 3.
Yep, and they're harder to get into. Let's face it. I mean, that's one of the issues with the Teslas, that you got to climb down into them. And for people who are young, that's great. But as we get towards 63 or north of that, there's just no doubt that she just found the ID.4 a much more comfortable car.
Yeah, and that wasn't so much the issue for us as I'm sure it is for others, but really, really, it's just the fact that the phantom braking was really the deal breaker that we decided to part for it. And again, the good news is I sold that car for $5,000 to $6,000 more than I paid for it. And again, we had north of 12,000 miles on the car when we sold it.
Yeah. So in the end, everything worked out well. And right now you're a one EV family. But the problem is now you just have the CCS charging system, and you're living with it in Wisconsin. And we're just making the best of it.
Right. And but fortunately we're in a position where we save a lot of money using the EV. But if we're headed to a portion of the state where that CCS network isn't developed, then we take an ICE car.
I just say move to Colorado.
Yeah.
Solve your problems. We'd love to have you out in Colorado.
Yeah, that would be nice in a lot of ways, but we have a lot of attachment to the state. I own 2 homes in the state, and frankly, we kind of like it here.
Oh, but
besides, as you pointed out, the beer is really good.
We got chargers and mountains, and we have plenty of breweries. So there's no shortage of those in Colorado. But anyway, Pat comes out frequently to Colorado. I come here frequently. We take electric cars when we're not flying. And in general, it used to be a challenge to get to Colorado, even in a CCS charger, when I would take my old e-tron. But right now that network has improved so much, and there's more chargers now along the way, that it's kind of taken the sport out of it, when you take that route, because it's not difficult. And if you've got a long ways to go to get to an Electrify America, oftentimes along the way, you're going to see a good charge point charger, which are super simple to use. I almost take my hats off to ChargePoint, because they've done a really good job with their app of making it effortless to charge at their chargers. So we're going to get ready to stop now in just a second or two, take a turn, and we're going to end up going to a convenience store / gas station. But in Wisconsin, they're a little different. They're more like a combination butcher shop and cheesemonger palace, you know, because you can find all kinds of stuff in there that you aren't going to find anywhere else. And so we're going to show you a few of the Wisconsin delicacies in just a second. Run into a spotted cow truck, which is a necessity. And of course, there's an entire display from the New Glarus Brewery, because that's what every Wisconsinite wants. And then you got the sausage, the cheese, the sausage and more. And then we got cheese curds, because that is also an essential item in the state. And one of the things that's really become popular at these little shops is a lot of sausage made from wild game, like elk and buffalo. And then, of course, you can't help but buy a pound of pure sugar in the form of a kringle from Racine. This is Bob Flaherty, the electric principal, and I'm here at the Stevens Point VW Hyundai dealership. They also sell Ford, and they're making a big move towards electric. And I'm very proud to say that these folks see the future. They've got two 62.5 kilowatt chargers in right now. They're putting in 2 more. They're opening these up to the public so anybody can pull in, and they're charging incredibly cheap prices to charge. And this is the kind of effort we're going to need in the future to make the electric car network work.
Well, welcome to the Stevens Point Hyundai dealership. And again, this is a 62 kilowatt Old Faithful, I call it. It's really good. Actually, it's almost a brand new charger. And it's just an excellent experience. And I'll just take a moment to show you how easy this is with ChargePoint. Simple process here. You remove the CCS charger and you get it set up. Just plug it in to the old Volkswagen ID.4. And from there, you just open up your phone and you use the ChargePoint app. And just hold it close to it, click on that, and simple as that. You push on the app button and it just rolls. And here we are charging.
We're at 54 kilowatts. That's what we're charging at. Not bad. You know, it's because it's a 62.5 kilowatt charger. And right now we got 45 minutes left. So let's take a little bit of time and talk to the good folks at the dealership here a little bit about their public charging setup and how nice that is and why they have it. And I am at the Stevens Point Hyundai dealer with Megan. And Megan is their internet specialist. She's also in the forefront of the electric car movement here at the dealership. And I want to just talk to her a little bit about how you ended up with so many nice 62.5 kilowatt chargers sitting out in front in the middle of northern Wisconsin when there isn't another one anywhere around.
All right, so Stevens Point Hyundai wanted to be the preferred dealer for electric vehicles in our area, and in order to do that, we had to install the ChargePoint 3s, and we just went all in. So right now we are the preferred electric dealer in our area.
And so does every Hyundai dealer have to put in electric chargers?
They do. If they want to be considered an electric dealer, you do have to install the ChargePoints.
Right, and then when it comes to buying an electric car here, do you have a stock of them at all, or are you ordering out each car, or how are you doing that, Megan?
The more we sell, the more we get, so we are doing priority requests for them, and we are getting allocated through Hyundai.
Oh, it's excellent.
Yep.
And are you putting in more chargers? Well, I heard that you might be putting in a couple more.
Yes, we are hoping to start selling Ford EVs, and we are currently selling VW EVs as well, so the need for more chargers is definitely happening.
Yep. Do you guys sell Audis too?
We don't.
Oh, start selling Audis. They're wonderful. You gotta do that.
Actually, you know what? We have a pre-owned on the lot right now.
Do you really?
Yeah,
what do you got on the pre-lot?
It's an e-tron.
Okay, very cool.
We just took it in last week.
All right. Well, Megan, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, we're just finishing up here because if you haven't noticed, it's starting to snow here, and we want to get back to Madison before we get too much. But we added 134 miles in 47 minutes, 41.859 kilowatts, and we're ready to go. And it was all painless with ChargePoint at Stevens Point, VW, Hyundai, and Ford. And once again, I really thank them for the work that they're doing and moving ahead. They've only sold a few electric cars here, a fraction of what we have in Fort Collins. But the way they're working, that's going to change shortly. There we go. The final bill, $3.80. That's pretty darn good. It's pretty cool though. It works right along with that. It's wonderful. zipping down the road. Hey folks, this is Bob Flaherty, the Electric Principal, and I'm just going to spend a moment to kind of summarize this video. Really the purpose of it was to have a little fun with Wisconsin, but really to show you the difference between the have and have not states, Colorado and Wisconsin, when it comes to electricity. And after reviewing the video a little bit, we got really excited over a 62.5 kilowatt charger going in northern Wisconsin. And really, the irony is they're selling cars that charge at 250, some of those Kias. But that's really where the state is, and you're happy because at least you can make the trip. You're going to charge slowly, but you can at least make the trip. And so that's really where we're at in the terms of the CCS charging and where things are going to go and what we need to do. And personally, I'd like to see us spend the money not so much on rebates for electric cars or tax credits. I'd sure like to see us sink that money into infrastructure, because that's really where the growth of electric cars is going to continue. If we have some decent infrastructure, you're going to see people buying more cars, because in Wisconsin, it's really a question, whether it's going to work for you. When you're counting on one charger or two chargers in the middle of the state, and everything has to work just right if you're going to make that trip. And so sometimes it's still good to have a gas car and an electric car when you live in that kind of environment where you're not going to necessarily always have power at your fingertips. So once again, thanks for watching the channel. Please subscribe. I hope you liked this video. We had a lot of fun making it. I want to thank my brother Pat for doing that with me. As you can tell, we're pretty darn close.